The article you wrote about this says that what we're seeing there was inevitable. When did you come to believe that this was inevitable?
Yeah, hi, Lawrence. I can actually tell you the exact moment that happened. So I learned Pashto in the Marine Corps, the language of southern Afghanistan, and I deployed to Afghanistan twice on Special Operations Task Forces. And I remember the first time I was there, I spoke to everyone when I was there, Afghan security forces, normal people, everyday people, and even the Taliban. And I was interviewing this Taliban guy in the Herat City Penitentiary, and I asked him, "Sir, do you know why you're here?" And he says, straight and firm, "Yes, because I was trying to kill me. I was trying to kill you." And I said, "Okay, and where do you think this is going to go?" He's like, "Well, you can either let me out and I'll keep trying to kill me, or you can keep me in here, and one of these days I'm going to be out because you guys are going to be gone." And based on all my interactions with everyone else I'd had, I saw that, this is when it's going to happen. It's inevitable. When I was there in 2014, 13 years we'd been in Afghanistan, and my unit and me were doing absolutely everything for the Afghan forces. We were doing their logistics, we were getting them ammo, food, all sorts of supplies. And so for the idea that we'd stay 7 years later and something would somehow change was absolutely wrong. It's been inevitable for a long time, and most people who were there would say the exact same thing.
How surprised were you that the Afghan army basically collapsed almost instantaneously, and the president fled?
I wasn't surprised at all. In fact, the president fleeing is just iconic of what happened in Afghanistan, actually both for Americans and for Afghans. The people who paid the price for this war were normal, everyday human beings, both in America and in Afghanistan. We're the people who died, we're the people who paid for the war, and the people who really made out were the elites on both sides. Defense contractors here, politicians who used the war to get into office. And then on that side, there were all these commanders who would just take American money, not push the food or supplies down to their troops. I don't blame the troops there at all for what happened. They were undersupplied and underfed. The elites made out here, and it's not surprising to me at all that when push came to shove, they fled, and what happened in Afghanistan happened.
The news media attached great respect, sometimes awe and hopes in a various succession of commanders in these military operations in both Afghanistan and Iraq at different times. General Petraeus comes to mind. Was there ever a command change or a tactical change in Afghanistan after you served there that made you think, oh, this might work?
No, I think that this has been inevitable from the very beginning. And it was just, there was a systematic institutional lie in place that was, I think, perpetuated just to make sure that the American people believed that this investment in Afghanistan of 20 years, almost 2,500 U.S. service members' lives, and $2.25 trillion was worth it so that we could keep staying there. And they're perpetuating that on the news right now. They're getting out there and almost saying that we need to go back because they're trying to somehow say that it was worthwhile. The same way that they're saying that Iraq was worthwhile and that the $6.4 trillion we spent over there was okay. And these are the same people that refuse to spend just a fraction of that amount of money right here in America building up our infrastructure. And so for me, like the real shock and surprise in this whole thing for me isn't what's happening there. It's the fact that the American people didn't realize that this was inevitable when so many military people on the ground did. And the reason for that is because we have been lied to over and over again about what was happening in Afghanistan, what their capabilities were, and what we were getting for that investment. We weren't getting anything for that investment, and it's a real shame that places like where I grew up in Missouri are falling apart now, and they could have really used the investment instead.